Hi. Tonight I want to talk about worry and what it means according to law of attraction and what you are doing with your energy if you are worrying about stuff a lot. But before I start, you might notice this. What happened was that I was just baking a cake tonight. And I burned myself with the oven a little bit. It's really not a big deal. It's over here. There's a little bit of like redness. But don't worry. I put it under cold water and everything, and by now it doesn't even really hurt anymore, but I put this on. I know it looks really traumatic, but I promise the spot is very small. But I just put this on because I need to use this hand, and it's like best if like nothing really rubs against the spot, basically. So don't worry about me, I am fine. But what is this? Like in terms of law of attraction, what is this? Like why would something like this happen? My current understanding is something like this would happen because you are doing, especially because this is not really a big deal. It's not like a big accident or something. It's rather small, but it is an accident. But my understanding of the law of attraction is that actually there are no accidents, like nothing is actually accidental. Everything is a response to what you are doing with your energy, with your vibration. So why would something like this happen? And why would you like bump yourself against things in your home? Like what is happening when that is happening? And my understanding is that you could just like fine tune your energy a little bit. You're doing something in your mind, most likely, and you're not really paying attention in that moment that you are going off on some track. So like in this case, what I think I was doing, I was going off on this little track of like justifying something in my own head, explaining something. It was basically like an imaginary scenario where I was justifying something. It's not really important like what it was, but I want to bring it to your attention that sometimes when you're not paying very, close attention to what you're doing and your thoughts, and you just start having these like imaginary conversations in your head where you're like justifying something, even just a little bit, stuff like this can happen. Because this happened right around the time where I was doing that. Sometimes I can't even tell why I have like bumps and like why am I pumping my limbs all over the place. Like I can't really take it back to whatever I was doing in my head. But I do know that like generally speaking, it is something that you're doing with your energy in that moment. So I just wanted to take a moment to explain that in case that's interesting to someone. But I promise I am fine. It doesn't even hurt anymore. But worrying, what is that? Why do we do that? Why is it so hard to shake? Because I feel like everyone does that. And a lot of people are like chronic worriers. So what is that? Like, what is actually happening here in terms of law of attraction? And in terms of my current knowledge about the laws of the universe. So worrying, and really any negative feeling, is just a habit of thought. This is just something that you have practiced yourself into. And I know that seems really simplistic and seems like there would be more to it. But really, this is just something that you are practicing in your own head. And if you are doing this a lot, you would say that you are a chronic worrier. Then what is happening is this is just a pattern of thought you are practicing. And it comes easily to you because you have been practicing this. And it doesn't really matter so much where you picked it up from. Like maybe your parents taught you to do that. And so you've just kind of sort of always been that way because your parents were that way. They always worry about stuff. So now you always worry about stuff. It's not really that important where you got that from. But the fact is, if you are a chronic worrier, this is a habit of thought that you have practiced. But let's talk about what this means in terms of law of attraction. Why is it that we do that? And what I think it is, what my experience with worrying is, I don't worry that much these days, but I used to do it a lot. I think that it is just a misunderstanding. We don't really know that our emotions have meaning, which they do. What we think is happening when we worry, at least this has been my experience, is that you think that there is some kind of inevitable event that's coming your way right now that you need to worry about. And if you are a chronic worrier, this has really been your pattern of thought for a long time, then because law of attraction is always responding to how you feel worried a lot of the time, and you practice that a lot, then chances are you have a lot of things in your life to worry about. This is just manifested evidence of what your most practiced emotional state is, which is being worried about this and that and the other. And so we think that this worry is just in response to these events that are happening, that keep on coming into our lives. But it's actually the other way around. It's that you are worrying in this moment, and therefore you are creating something to worry about. Because the way the universe works, according to my understanding, is that the universe is basically telling you, feel some type of way, and I'll give you a reason to feel that way. Feel worried, and I'll give you a reason to worry about. We think that what is happening is that there is a reason to worry about, and therefore we feel worried. That something happens and we worry about it, and then we feel worried. But it's the other way around. You were worried before this thing happened. This is something that you have to prove to yourself. You can't just listen to me say this, especially if you've never heard it before. But I promise you, if you start paying attention to how you feel, then pretty soon you will prove to yourself that you were worried before this whatever thing that you're now worried about happened. And so, what are you doing with your energy when you worry? You're basically using your energy and using your imagination to create something in this now, in this moment, this very moment, to create something that you don't want. And the specifics of that event are not really that important. What is important to note is that when this event happens, unless you do something about that worry so that you're not worried anymore, but most people don't, the specifics of this event are not important. Once this event happens, you should be able to point to that and realize that your emotional response to this event is worry. You were worried before this happened, and now the universe has just sent you evidence that you have been worried in the form of this event. And it's not that, well, it can be this. It can be like in this moment, in this now, you are creating, especially if you are imagining something specific in your own head, you are creating this specific event that you are imagining in your future. But this could be what happens, but what could also happen is that it's not this specific event that happens. It's that it could be something totally different, but your emotional response to it is still going to be worry. You're just creating something to worry about. And then, because you're constantly creating these events in your now, you feel as though there are these events that are coming out of nowhere, coming to basically slap you across the face. And then you're like, well, I need to be worried about stuff because look, all of this is happening. Stuff for me to worry about is happening. So then you come to this like misunderstanding that there is something to worry about, but there actually isn't. It is just that you are creating something to worry about in this now. And you know, the universe doesn't know if what you are imagining in your head right now is if that is happening right now, if that happened in the past, or if this is some future event that you were imagining. Because as far as the universe is concerned, there is only right now. There's only this moment. And so the universe is like, okay, you're thinking about this thing. I'm going to see it as this is happening now. Whatever it is that you're thinking about. The universe sees it as this is happening right now. So you are using your now to create a future event to worry about, to show you that you have been worried. Because you know, there is actually no future, because when the future gets here, it's gonna be now. hope that you can follow this. I hope that this is making some kind of sense to you. But now the question is, why, like, what does that emotion of worry actually mean then? If it doesn't mean that there is something to worry about, because there isn't. You just feel like there is, because this has been your pattern of thought, and now you have manifested evidence in your life that, yeah, there are things to worry about, but these things are just coming as a response to what you are doing with your energy. You are creating these things, basically. But if there is nothing to worry about, then what does this worry actually mean then? The way I understand it is there is this human you, the physical you that you know as you. But there is also a larger part of you, a more expanded part of you. Some people call it your higher self. Some people call it inner being. Whatever you want to call it, there is that part of you. And this part of you is never worried about anything. Because this part of you has seen your future, basically. This part of you has become your future and is constantly becoming your future as you are living life and as you come to new preferences. This part of you, your higher self, is constantly becoming your future and is calling you towards that future, towards all the things that you want. And so your higher self is never worried because your higher self knows things are going to work out just fine. Even if right now to the physical you it feels like, no, that can't possibly be true. But that feeling of worry is telling you that whatever you're focused on right now, your higher self has a different opinion about that thing. So you are focused on something and you are worried about it. In that moment, your higher self is thinking this is not anything to worry about. This is gonna be just fine. But you are worried. This feeling of worry is just telling you that your higher self doesn't see this the way that you are seeing right now. Your higher self is not focused on it in the way that you are. And so you feel the discord. This worry is just discord between you and this physical you and this higher self part of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel worried. If your higher self agreed with the way you see things right now, you would never feel worried. You would be happy as ever because your higher self would be like, yeah, I see it this same way because there's no discord then. We are meeting up. We are in agreement. But you feel worried because you're not in agreement with yourself, basically. So, you might have this question, well, if my higher self sees things differently, and if my higher self is really saying that things are gonna be okay, then why do these things to worry about keep manifesting then? Like, I thought everything was gonna be okay, like you say. It's because you are still the creator of your own reality. You know, your higher self is telling you that, yeah, it's gonna be okay. And honestly, the way your higher self sees things, anything, no matter what, even if something manifests for you to actually worry about, have that emotional response to, your higher self still knows it's gonna be okay. Because it knows that, yeah, there's a way out of this. Whatever you keep on creating, there's a way out of this. The universe is constantly rearranging around you based on what you are doing, based on what you are creating. It's just creating new pathways for you constantly. But you are still the creator of your own reality. So even though there is this higher self part of you who always knows that everything is going to be okay and who is constantly becoming the future you, basically, the future you who knows that everything is okay now because the situation, whatever it is, has been resolved. You, in your physical body, can still focus in opposition to things that you want. So when you are worried about something, what you are doing with your energy and what you're doing in your own mind is that you are focusing on something unwanted about the situation that you're thinking about. You're thinking about how this is gonna not turn out well for you in some kind of way. You're focused on the unwanted. Your higher self is focused on the wanted. Your higher self is like thinking about ways that this could work out well for you. But if you are not thinking that in your physical human form, then you feel that discord. You feel worried. And because you are still the creator of your own reality, there is no end to how many worrying things you can create for yourself when you stay in opposition to your higher self, when you keep on thinking about how things could go wrong for you. This is simply because, well, this is your emotional state, and the universe is always responding to your emotional state. So you're gonna get how you're feeling in the form of people, places, things, circumstances, thoughts in your own head, impulses that occur to you, everything. If you don't join up with your higher self, you are gonna keep on creating things to worry about, even though your higher self is saying, basically, it doesn't have to go that way. It doesn't have to go the way that you're thinking right now. So, I hope that you've been able to follow this so far. So now the question becomes, well, okay, Kelly, I understand this in some kind of way. And no, I don't really like worrying about stuff. Well, how can I stop doing that then? I don't want to keep on creating these things to worry about, especially if I now know that it doesn't have to happen. Worrying things don't have to happen. So what do I do about it then? I'm gonna link here a video of something that you could do. You could find better feeling thoughts about that thing that you're focused on right now. Because right now you're focused on the unwanted side of it. But every situation has both wanted and unwanted in it. And your focus sort of determines what you are going to get. So you could take this situation and find basically wanted aspects about it, because I promise you they are there. You could take this situation, whatever it is that you're thinking about, and find some better feeling thoughts about it. Find some real relief about it, because Well, you have to care about how you feel. Worry doesn't feel good. And if you care about how you feel, then you want to do something about it. You want to change it. Especially if you now know that if you don't change it, yeah, you're going to get something to worry about. It may not be that thing that you're imagining in specifics, but it's going to be something to which your emotional response is going to be worry, basically. I'm not laughing at you. I just know what it's like because I've done it too, you know. But you could find some better feeling thoughts. And what that is going to do, it's going to change your emotional state. So now you're much less likely to get something to worry about because it's now no longer your emotional state anymore. And because the universe is always responding to what your emotional state is, if it's something that feels better, you kind of have to get something that feels better. It's just sort of how this works. But you have to want to feel better about this. You have to want to change your way of thinking about this. Because, I was thinking today about this idea that a lot of people have, that law of attraction is just sitting around and waiting for things to happen, or like hoping that things will go your way or something. But I actually feel that there are, real actionable steps to take. You really do have to, especially like with something like this, you want to change this habit of worry because it is just a habit of thought. I'm saying it again. It's not that there is something to worry about. It's just that you are creating these things for yourself to worry about. And then physical evidence shows up that, yeah, this is this thing for you to worry about. But that doesn't have to happen. So you have to care about how you feel. And there are actionable steps to do to change how you feel. Because when you start practicing this, it's not enough to just listen to someone like me talk about this. It's not enough to intellectually know that this is the way it is because, I'm telling you, I spent, several years, even though I knew about these things, well, I didn't have such a clear understanding as I have now. And it just continues to become clearer. That's how things work. But I knew about these things like intellectually, but I still wasn't practicing them. I wasn't actually doing anything. I wasn't willing to like sit down and actually find some better feeling thoughts about anything. I would just feel whatever I was feeling and then go off on that track. So basically, if I was feeling worried, I would go off on this track of worrying about stuff. And then, yeah, stuff to worry about manifested, because that's how it works. Even though I know about this thing. So it really takes you being determined enough and focused enough to be like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm actually gonna, you could do this in your head if you wanted to, but sometimes it's helpful to even like write it down. So I'm gonna sit down and I'm actually gonna take this thing that I feel this emotion of worry about, and I'm gonna find some relief, some relieving thoughts to think, some better feeling thoughts to think about this, whatever I'm worried about, to help myself feel better, because I don't like to feel like shit. And because I care about how I feel. It's not enough to just know that this is the way that it is, because then you will still be tempted to just go off like a train on that track of worrying, and nothing changes. You don't change. You don't begin to change that habit of thought. And when you first begin to try to change it, yeah, it's gonna be difficult because your brain is so used to worrying. You might try this out and you will fail like almost instantly. You will pick that habit of worrying up again. But this is why I keep on talking about your emotional state, and I keep on talking about why it matters so much, how you feel, how it's everything. You have to care about it. If you don't care about it, then yeah, you're just gonna pick that habit up again. And the reason it matters so much is because whatever emotional state that you are in, law of attraction, it's so consistent. It will start delivering to you evidence that this is how you're feeling, whatever emotional state it is. And then this is what your reality becomes. So if you are a chronic worrier, and this is where you chronically are, you feel that way a lot, then law of attraction is just going to deliver to you evidence that, yeah, this is how you feel. And then this is your life. Just the stuff to worry about seems endless. Seems like somebody is like almost like sending this to you. Well, you are attracting it because you are creating it. So therefore you're manifesting it. It's not that the universe doesn't like you or something, or that you deserve this bullshit. No, you don't. But you are doing this to yourself with your own habits of thought. Your thoughts are turning to feelings, and your feelings are turning to things over time. Physical manifested evidence of how you feel. This is what they are turning into. If you are not doing anything about how you feel, you're not trying to change it in any way. So how you feel is just constantly turning into another moment in your life and another moment in your life where there's just this physical manifested evidence happening that this is how you feel, and then this is what your life is. This is why it matters so much what your emotional state is. And well, as far as the universe is concerned, it's all good. It's not like you're doing something wrong if you're worried about stuff. It's just that you yourself probably won't like your life very much. And I am just here to try and be of help to anyone who cares about this or who would like something different. And if this is your first time hearing about this, then you can't just listen to me. You have to prove this to yourself. And I do understand that sometimes it is the case that you're not really ready to put this into action yet. You're just ready to start learning about this, because that's kind of how it was for me. Like, I knew about these things for a long time before I was really willing to sit my ass down and be like, I'm gonna manage my emotional state because I can. You might spend some time just reacting to things and reacting to life, and well, eventually you're gonna get to this place where you're just like, I am so sick and tired of these things that I keep on creating myself because I'm not doing anything about my emotional state. I'm so sick and tired of being thrown around by the conditions of my own life emotionally, or by the conditions of the world. That's when you really sit down and start thinking, well, what can I do about this? Is there anything I can do about this? Is there anything I can do to make myself feel better? So I get it. I get it if you are not currently ready yet to actually do the work. I was right there. But I can tell you that nothing in my life really changed for the better until I started doing this work. Until I started caring about how I feel, basically. Absolutely everything is about how you feel. Because you take how you feel into every single situation that you are a part of. You experience everything through how you feel. So why would you tolerate something as uncomfortable as worry? I get that maybe it's not that uncomfortable to you because you're just so used to it. You can't even tell that it's uncomfortable in some cases. But if you start practicing feeling better, then yeah, eventually you will be able to tell this sucks, this feeling sucks. Why would you tolerate it if you don't have to? You're only tolerating it because it's just a habit. That's all it is. And this is why you have physical manifested evidence in your life that you are worried about stuff. Physical manifested evidence for you to worry about. Because it's what you have been doing with your energy. You're not doing anything different. So you keep on getting these things. And as long as you're not doing anything different and you keep on feeling that way, you're going to keep on getting these things. So I just want to pose you this question, like, aren't you tired of it already? Don't you want to get something better? Don't you want to experiment with all this stuff that I'm talking about and see if you can get something better? Your brain is a very difficult place to be in if you're worried about stuff all the time. So, I don't know, just if this is of interest to you, this law of attraction thing, and you would like to try to get something different and practice a different habit of thought, because worrying is a habit of thought. It's a habit. It's something that you have practiced over time, so now it is easy for you to do. But that's all it is. It's just a habit. It doesn't mean that there is something to worry about. It's just a habit. But you can practice a different habit of thought if you would like to. Again, the universe is not judging you. The universe is like, it's all good for the expansion of the universe, no matter what you are doing. But you might start to like your own life a little bit better if there are not so many things to worry about all the time. And if you yourself are more relaxed in your own mind because you care about how you feel. If you are constantly worrying about stuff, then you don't care about how you feel, not nearly enough. Because why would you cause that to yourself? You cause it because it's a habit. But you can take yourself to a different feeling place, and then you will start to get different things. Law of attraction will respond, I promise. So, I hope that this has been helpful. And I hope that maybe if you actually start practicing some better feeling thoughts, you will eventually be able to worry a little bit less, and then a little bit less, until eventually you won't be so worried anymore. And one final thing I would like to say, think about the future you. Think about the you that you are now. And think about where you've been. What would this you that you are now say to the past you? If you are anything like me, then this you now, which is from the past you's perspective, the future you, would tell the past you to chill the fuck out, dude, because everything is gonna work out. Whatever it is that past you is worried about, you know that it has worked out. Life keeps on working out. It's not really that there is so much to worry about. You keep on figuring things out as you go along. And I don't know about you, but my future me's message, like whenever I think back to wherever I've been in the past, future me always says one thing, and it's that you didn't need to worry about this so much. It was gonna work out just fine. And in fact, it was gonna work out better than just fine. It was gonna be great. Future me always says that past me really could have chilled out a lot more than she did. This might be the case for you too, so it's just something to think about. So I hope that this was interesting to you, and I hope that this was helpful in some way. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.